So good.
Hey guys, it's your host, Jutter. And the Denver Broncos are officially back on the football field. It's about freaking time. And if the first preseason game was any indication of what's to come, you'll be one happy camper. The Denver Broncos opened the 2026 preseason with a convincing 27-7 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. And while I'm always going to remind everybody that this is preseason, the Broncos looked prepared, physical, and most importantly, deep. Denver jumped out to a 24-0 halftime lead and controlled the game at the very beginning. And remember, Bo Nix didn't even play. Sean Payton decided to hold Nix out as he continues to work his way back from an ankle injury, which meant Jarrett Stidham got the opportunity to run the offense, and Stidham took advantage. Jarrett Stidham looked ready. Stidham finished 9 out of 15 passing for 131 yards and 1 touchdown. And more importantly, he looked comfortable running the offense. He simply wasn't checking the ball down and trying to survive a preseason game. Denver attacked the Atlanta down the field, including a big connection to Courtland Sutton. In fact, it was a 40-yard bomb to Courtland Sutton. And that's exactly what you want from your backup quarterback. Hopefully, Stidham doesn't have to play meaningful snaps this season because that means Bo Nix is healthy and doing his thing. But if Denver needs him, it was pretty encouraging reminder that Stidham can step in and operate that offense. And speaking of Sutton, the man apparently didn't get the memo that this was preseason. He was out there making plays like it was December. Even had a one-handed catch. That was something to see. It gets me pumped. The Broncos also had some really encouraging moments from the running game as well. Denver finished with 162 yards rushing, despite J.K. Dobbins being among the offensive starters held out. That gave R.J. Harvey and rookie Jonah Coleman opportunities to show what they can do. Coleman was one of those players I was really interested in watching coming into the game, and he didn't disappoint. The rookie out of Washington showed patience, balance, vision, and the ability to run through contact. And that's exactly what we needed. And this is where the running back room gets interesting. You've got Dobbins, you've got Harvey, and now you got Coleman trying to force their way onto the field. And that's a wonderful problem to have. And for a Broncos offense that wants to take pressure off of Bo Nix and having multiple backs who can contribute and become extremely important once the regular season begins. Oh, it is good to have football back. Now, another storyline that shouldn't get lost is Davis Webb calling the offense. This was Webb's first preseason game as a Denver's offensive coordinator, and Sean Payton has come away impressed with how Webb handled the responsibilities, specifically praising his play calling and substitutions. Denver was moving the football without offensive starters, including Nix, Dobbins, and center Luke Wattenberg, and yet they still put up 24 points on the board at the end of half. That's encouraging. Now, I'm not crowning anybody after one preseason game. That's just stupid. I've watched enough football to know better than that. But the operation looked smooth. Now let's talk about the fun part, the defense. Especially with the defense Jahdae Barron. Barron probably had one of the best plays of the night, a 97 interception return for a touchdown. 97. That's not an interception. That's a cardio workout with 6 points waiting at the end. And Barron wasn't the only Bronco defensive back making meaningful plays. Riley Moss also recorded an interception, giving the Broncos multiple takeaways on that night. That's exactly what you've been wanting to see from this defense. And that's exactly what they've been preparing to do during offseason. Denver has invested heavily in the secondary. And when you've got players fighting for snaps behind established starters, the preseason games become extremely important. And Barron didn't just make a great play, he made the type of plays that coaches notice. So, what should Bronco country take away from a 27-7 preseason win? Not that the Broncos are going undefeated. Everybody calm down. It's August. Even I don't think that we're going to go undefeated. But it's certainly something to take away and be happy about. But this is something you can absolutely evaluate the execution, depth, and individual performances. And that's where the game was encouraging. Stedham looked comfortable. The running backs produced. It was an amazing game. But not only that, the offensive line helped Denver establish the run. Davis Webb's first play calling experience was wonderful, and the execution was fantastic. And the defense created turnovers. And especially, there are several young players that made legitimate arguments for bigger roles. Denver didn't need Bo Nix to play. They didn't need several offensive starters. And they still controlled the game against Atlanta from the opening quarter. That is what I'm calling a huge win, because that's exactly what you want out of the first preseason game. There are several roster battles to settle, and there are going to be mistakes along the way that Sean Payton and the coaching staffs will have to turn to film, because trust me, coaches can find something wrong with anything. But overall, Broncos country should feel pretty good about the first preseason game. Denver wins 27-7. The depth showed up. There are several young players making roster noises. And now competition gets even more interesting as we move deeper into preseason. You guys aren't excited about preseason? You should.
Oh, it's so good.